All right, guys, we are back at it again. I'm a little bit under the weather, so that's why I probably sound a little different today. But also, a big reason why I haven't uploaded any other videos the remainder of this week. I know it's 4th of July and things like that, and wasn't able to upload upload like I would want to. But we're back at it again today with a live stream, so hopefully it goes well. And we'll give it the old college try and see. My YouTube here is not wanting to cooperate with me. In any case, excuse me, we are live today, and really anything anybody wants to discuss, we're game for it. I know with the Olympics coming up, every time that the Olympics come up, it seems like, of course they're every 4 years, but it always seems like when the Olympics happen, that's when the political ads start. And I have no problem talking about politics, but I don't really want to get into heated discussions of politics. But I have no, don't really mind to talk about it. Excuse me. Because I will definitely give my opinion, and I'll try to do so in a very respectful way. But it seems like currently that is becoming more and more of the environment here lately, especially with the Olympics starting. Because, like I said, as it seems like every time the Olympics come around, that's like the definitive start. It's like the first start of the Olympic flame. It's like all the governor or the elected officials are like, "Ooh, the Olympic flame's been lit. Insert ads everywhere," and they just start popping up here, there, and everywhere. Yeah, somehow I'm awake. Yeah, somehow I'm awake. I had to work this morning, man. I'm tired. All right, and as always, we do have, excuse me, the Chris the Dude Nurse Facebook page. I do not. I mean, this is the only way to direct message me. But man, I last time I was on here was almost a year ago, September 3rd. So I really don't do a lot on the Facebook page. I just don't. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I do not care for Facebook. I don't know what it is, but I do have the Facebook page. So if you do need to direct message me, then that's the best way to get a hold of me. What's with the deep voice got going on? Been smoking. I have been smoking. I have also been coughing up some gross green stuff. Pretty sure it is some sort of allergy mess. I honestly think, and this could just be me, we haven't had rain in like forever. It's been like 8 years since it's rained here. But I honestly feel that it's due to the lack of rain. Also, I do have an Instagram page. I do not direct message on Instagram. I do not direct Insta message on Instagram. But do have the page. So if you want to check out the Instagram page, check it out there. But I feel that the lack of rain has really caused whatever has happened inside of my congestiveness. That, and I feel like I got a lot less sleep this week than I did any other week this whole summer. We had a lot going on. We had a swim meet Tuesday, I think. Swim meet was Tuesday. Wednesday, of course, was the July the 3rd, which everybody was getting ready for the 4th. And I've continued to work this week, including today. So I really haven't slept very much. But I just feel like it was, that without the rain has helped me not feel so bad, not feel so good. Um, but it is what it is. Um, I'll get over it. But yes, I have started smoking. I have not really started smoking. It's a terrible habit. I'm too old to start now. It's not even be, it wouldn't even be cool if I started now. Be like, man, you started smoking at almost 40? Man, why? You're out of the cool phase then. It's like there's no point. They always ask me at the dentist if I ever smoked. Every time I go to the dentist, they're like, "Oh, do you ever, do you chew tobacco or smoke or anything like that?" And I said no. And they said, "Well, have you ever?" I said, "Yeah, to fit in high school." And then that's the extent of my answer. So, no. Um, Never something I've ever been interested in. Is the smoking. But it is what it is. Um, Shoot, I had something on my mind too, and I was gonna bring it up, but I completely forgot it. Completely forgot it. So now that I'm trying to remember what I was thinking about, so in North Carolina, the state that I live in, a judge has to retire at the age of 72. Now this is probably to keep them from having tired minds. What's up, Jenna? Tired minds and things like that. So, in North Carolina, a judge has to retire at 72 years old. Sort of forced upon them. In theory, if a judge is forced into retirement by the state of North Carolina at 72 years old, that judge could get put on the Supreme Court at 72 years old and then serve for another 20 years until they are 92 years old. Well, I guess they could serve for another 28 years if they make it all the way to 100. That is honestly, in my mind, just dumbfounding. How in the world could you let something like that happen? It seems like there should be an age cap to most things. My grandfather, 90 years old, he was in a car wreck last year. 90 years old, 89 at the time, I guess. 88, 89. Can't remember when it happened. But he's 90 now. He was in a car wreck last year. And I don't believe he's driven since. But he did have his license. Still had his driver's license at probably still does now. And I was like, dang. I was talking to my sister after our grandfather had a wreck. And I was like, dang, I really feel like there should be like there's a minimum age. I feel like there should be a maximum age. Like you get to 86. From 16 to 86, in my opinion. You get 70 years. Congratulations, you got to drive a car for 70 years. Let's go ahead and take your license away. But no one wants to take old people's license away, especially when they say things like "I've been doing this all my life," something like that. But I feel that there should be limits to driver's licenses. I feel like there should be limits to certain job roles, such as North Carolina putting a limit on judges. I feel that other job roles that are very important and could be hazardous to people's health, such as, say, a surgeon, that probably needs to have a cap as well. A lot of people are going to disagree, but I feel that there should be caps put on certain roles, certain jobs, things like that. Privileges. Driving is a privilege. But that's just me. But in any case, off of my rant now. But my grandfather has not driven since. He's gotten my mother to sort of take him around, or my aunt, to sort of take him and my grandma around. Which is good for my grandparents, but probably not so good on my mom and my aunt, because I'm sure that both of them want to spend time with their grandkids. But it is what it is. In any case. We've gotten a lot of heat. Like I said, we haven't had any rain, but we've had a lot of heat, and it has been so hot that I stopped by a gas station the other day to get some ice out of the. They normally have like a cooler almost. It's a freezer, and the big metal door opens up on it. It's outside. That the gas station I stopped at, it's been so hot that the gas station that I stopped at had to quit leaving the ice in that freezer because it was thawing out. It's been that hot here, so it has been extremely hot. And hopefully, and I know that this is probably going to sound bad, but hopefully that Hurricane Beryl sort of stops by here and dumps off a bunch of rain. I know a lot of people don't want to see Beryl, especially down in the Caribbean, but I am pretty far inland and would not mind seeing all the rain come in from Beryl. It's just me, though. Did you hear about Hurricane Beryl? What it did? Yeah. So yes, that's. I wish it would have come this way. As bad as that sounds. But yeah, I wish Beryl would have come this way and dropped off the rain here. I know it comes with more than just rain. High winds and flooding and whatnot. But yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, it missed like every other place except for Jamaica. Like it hit dead center on Jamaica. But yeah, I did hear about that. Oh, Hurricane Beryl, and it's only the second named storm of the year too, which is normally you don't hear about big storms until you get into like the H's and L's, the 10th and 12th named storms, somewhere around in there. But yeah, Beryl did some stuff to Jamaica. And a lot of those, I know that we, as Americans, I've never been to any of these places, but I know we as Americans sort of tour and vacation at a lot of these Caribbean islands. But like the regular working part of these islands, these people aren't rich. They're not on resorts and stuff like that. So when a hurricane does damage to them, it does damage to like their regular house. They're where they live, and they may not be prepared. This is Chris the Dude Gamer channel. Yeah, this definitely is Chris the Dude Gamer channel. Yeah, you found it. Awesome. I hope we don't have any more, but the weather has been hot. Yeah, weather's definitely been hot here. Mr. Mach 1 over there with his Trump gnome. I'll be honest with you. I'll be 100% honest. It looks, I saw your video, like it's like that big. It looks like it's a tiny figure, and I was really hoping that something would just like smash it. Like drive over it and smash it. Courtney is just right over there. She's watching TV in the living room right now. She's here. She's just over there. Living up her summer, not teaching kids. She's speaking of sticking political, and because you just brought up Courtney, so Courtney's a teacher, and we have someone running in North Carolina for the very top board of education who's never been a teacher. I was like, you can't do that. And they were a nurse. I was like, I don't think that you really belong there. I think that you're not qualified for that. But, got elected. I should say, got nominated. She hasn't been elected. She got nominated. Um, but yeah, man, I was really hoping for a go kart and run over old Trump. I was, man. I was just, just running right over. That would have been so cool. So we are hiring a new security. So, just saying, we are hiring. If anybody's looking for a job, we are hiring. I did see the presidential debate, yes. I did see the presidential debate. I saw it. I don't know if I saw it the same way as a lot of people. And I saw it sort of it was a fun way, but honestly kind of pathetic. I saw the presidential debate from Robert F. Kennedy. If you don't know, and I honestly thought it was kind of embarrassing on Robert F. Kennedy's part, but I kind of get there was really no other way for him to do it. Robert F. Kennedy did something sort of like what I'm doing right now. He did a live stream. He had his own. He said, well, I guess his cabinet, whatever you call your people that are behind you, set up a live stream, and he like had one screen of the two Democrat Republican Donald Trump and President Joe Biden, their CNN debate, and then he was like standing on a stage, sort of kind of beside of it, and he had I think it was like just him and the guy asking the questions, and he would they would ask the questions to the two, and then sort of the guy that was with him would ask Robert F. Kennedy the question, and then sort of he would give his point. And it was like they were almost like pausing the presidential debate so Robert F. Kennedy could answer, and then they would play it again. And then, I get where he was coming from, but it was kind of, I don't, he owned it. I would have probably been embarrassed, but Robert F. Kennedy owned it, and he did it. It's probably the only way that he could have been noticed, but that's how I saw it. Was through him. But yes, it was not. It's pretty embarrassing. I actually made a short. I actually made a short the day after of the presidential debate. Yeah. So. Yeah, it was. Actually, I did two. Actually, I did two shorts because I did one of the actual presidential debate, and then I did another one because on July 1st fell on a Monday, and that was a double whammy for me at work for Medicaid, because Medicaid, Medicare, various grants, they all have to be documented differently. They have to be charted differently in substance abuse. And in substance abuse, a lot of the nurses, and really in any field of nursing, the nurses do a lot of charting. But on Medicare, Medicaid days, the nursing staff does a lot more charting. And it just so happened there was a perfect storm of July 1st was a Monday, and both of those days created a lot of documentation for us as nurses. So I did a short of the debate, and then I did another short where I said something to the effect of Medicaid and Medicare is not dead, despite whatever Joe Biden claims. Because, man, it's so stinking busy on Medicare, Medicaid Mondays. If you've ever heard the song Cyndi Lauper, Manic Monday, we sing that song, but we call it Medicare Monday at work. But yes, they were definitely embarrassing. The presidential debates were definitely embarrassing. I don't really know that they've ever been not embarrassing. I think that they've always sort of fudged numbers and told untruths, no matter what candidate. But yeah, definitely was embarrassing. It was embarrassing to be an American that day. I don't want to say embarrassing to be American. I'm always happy to be American. But it was embarrassing to be like, those are our two? Like, that's the best we can do as people? Like, we put them two up there? That can't be the best we can do. But yeah, no, not embarrassed to be an American, but embarrassed to see those two up there. I know other countries think we're idiots. Well, I know who can hit a golf ball further. I've never. Let me talk about the golf ball first. I've never hit a golf ball. I've hit putt. I don't think they're the same. I don't know. I've never seen either side by side. I know that putt is colorful and they bounce really well. I have never in my entire existence hit a golf ball. Never have. I don't know that I could. I truly don't. I truly have no clue if I could hit a golf ball or not. So anyone can hit a golf ball. Who can hit one further than me? I've never done it. Other countries thinks we're idiots. So I'll say, speaking of other countries, I know that a lot of people are having elections right now. France is having one, and UK just had one. We have a two-party system, which I completely agree with. I think that two parties is the way to go. These countries with like 9 parties and 12 parties and democratic monarchies and things like that. I don't think that's the way to go. I do think that America still has the best idea with the two-party system. I think it's the best way to go. And I disagree with other countries' style of elections because I don't think you can get a majority out of like a 9-party system or a 12-party system or whatever it may be. But I will say that they could definitely call us idiots because we picked these two. Like, man, why are we not smarter as an American people to pick two other less idiots than these two? But yeah, they're definitely. It's like we cooked a whole bunch of mac and cheese in a pot. We cooked a bunch of mac and cheese, and then we've served all the mac and cheese, but we have to feed one more child, and we're like scraping the very bottom of that pot of mac and cheese so that we can get that kid fed. eBay is going. Here's the thing, and back to the gamer channel part, because it will be related. eBay is going. I keep getting bids on things. I made the mistake of going ahead and listing my things pretty low to try to get bids. And when I did that, I'm getting low bids and selling low, not on purpose, but still selling low. So what I'm going to do, of course, get rid of everything that I have on sale right now. And then me and my oldest are going to go. There's a Goodwill down in Charlotte that only sells the donated computers to Goodwill. So we're going to go down to that Goodwill down in Charlotte, and we're going to go buy a computer because we had so much fun building the one that she is actually playing. She might be playing it right now, actually. I don't know. That we're going to build another one and then put it on eBay. I have had a lot of fun watching eBay sellers, the bid war. And so no one sort of, because I keep checking on what's at the Goodwill store. I keep a check on it because they sort of list their things. Every day they change their listings a little bit on the store. So I keep an eye on what's available at the store. And so I'm going to, when we go to eBay or when we go to Goodwill, we're going to go buy everything we need and then come back, build the computer, and then put it on eBay. And I'm learning a lot by watching those auctions. I'm learning a lot about like keywords and where to take your pictures and things like that. I found out the post office my local post office has a scale inside the building that is not like where you actually send the packages. It's in the mailbox part. Like the post office, my local post office has like a whole room of mailboxes. Like I think you can get in at any time in the day. It's like a 24-hour day thing because it's only mailboxes. In that room of just mailboxes, there's a scale. I didn't know this. I didn't know that there was a scale in there. It's just free to use. There's a scale right there, and it's an official post office scale. And so I've checked that out as well, which it really didn't make a difference because eBay was pretty good at guessing how much everything weighed already. So that was lucky for me. But it is going. It is going. Yeah, definitely had fun learning about it. Learning is, of course, something I do love doing. Just learning new things keeps your mind sharp. Of course, I do feel that I forget something to learn something. I forget something and learn something new. But how that is related to the Chris the Dude gaming channel, whatever you're gonna call it. When we build the system that we're gonna build to sell on eBay, I of course am going to make a video of it. So I can see that it's gonna be probably one that isn't watched by a lot of the nursing people, but maybe watched by a lot of people who are into the computers right now. So I don't know, but man, I did love building that computer. That was so much fun to me. Just to building something, that was so much fun. And hopefully, if it quits being so hot soon, I'll be able to put the gas tank back in the S10, and we can get the S10 back put together. I need a wheel cylinder. I was walking by it today, and I saw a bunch of fluid leaking out of the right rear. I was like, oh, great. That's probably something expensive. And it was a wheel cylinder. So I need a wheel cylinder for it. It's also drum. So that's going to be fun. We'll see how it goes though. It's a Chevy that's normal. Well, with the Chevys, they don't run right unless they are leaking. Like they don't do well unless they're leaking. No fluid under it, no fluid in it. So, there's that. But get that wheel cylinder replaced. Get the intake manifold gasket replaced. Probably new valve covers again. After that, it should be ready to go again. Should. That 85. That was my favorite truck. It reminds me, I've never seen a Chevy that didn't leak fluids. I worked for Chevy for a few years. I didn't either. They all do. They all leak fluids. The Chevy had a terrible time with the rear main seal. And no one ever wanted to replace the rear main seal because you had to either drop the trans or pull the motor. And everybody's like, nah, just put more fluid in it. So I don't know if it was like, they never gapped it right or, what it was. But yeah, GM has always leaked fluids. As a whole, they just do. It is what it is, though. Excuse me. Of course, my front main is also leaking at the cam. I probably need to worry about that. And I keep on going back and forth with myself if I'm going to put a small block in that truck or not. I do want to leave the kids' school in a cloud of smoke and not from like an engine issue, Big cloud of tire smoke. I think that would be super cool, but I got to go. I got to do a lot. All right, we'll go do a lot. We'll see you later. Oh, I'm hearing fireworks go off. Hope no one blew themselves up over the 4th. I didn't hear of any local incidences, but also I didn't really see anything on Instagram. Typically, like the next day, you see a lot of firework fails on Instagram. I didn't see any of that. Kind of disappointed. Like, you never want anybody to lose their house or, lose a hand or something like that. Like, you never want anybody to, like, get really hurt. But I was kind of disappointed not to see any silly videos. Excuse me. Any advice for home one-on-one care? Yeah, I did home one-on-one care for, 3-4 years. I was in pediatrics, so definitely people that were smaller than me, which it was good. What is the question? And then I'll see if I can answer it better. Yes, I loved home health. The biggest issue for home health that I had is it did not pay the bills. At the time, of course, I've been in substance abuse for 10 years, so last time I did home health was probably 2012-ish. So last time I was in home health was like 2012. But I loved it. But at the time, back to not being able to pay the bills. At the time when I was doing home health, I worked for a company called Bayada. Bayada would sort of loophole you into working like 60 hours, but not paying you overtime. You'd do like 38 hours here, and then do like 12 hours there, and then like another 10 hours here. And so you had 60 hours a week, but you got base pay the whole time because you were not with one contract for 40 hours. And so you would see nurses doing like one single patient would have like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday nurse, and then like a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday nurse, and then Sunday nurse. Like, Bayada did things like that, so they got out of paying you overtime because you would do 60 hours, but that wasn't with one contract. So that was one of the biggest reasons why I had to leave. I honestly loved home health. It was at times the easiest job that you could have, and then at other times it was the most difficult job you could have. But yeah, I definitely loved home health. It just, like I said, at the time the pay wasn't there. I think that Bayada has changed that, and I think that you do get overtime regardless of however many contracts you work if you go over 40 hours. Yeah, I was killing myself and driving all over the place and not making any money. Did you ever work with a teenager? Yes. Like I said, I was in peds. All of my peds were teenagers. Every single one of them was a teenage boy. Yes. How did I deal with that? So when I got into it, you got to remember, like I said, I got out in 2012. I got out of home health in 2012. You got to remember that was 12 years ago. There were very few men. There's still very few men in nursing, but there were really, really no men in nursing 12 years ago. And so they actually sort of wanted me to do the teenage boy home health. They thought that it would have been a better fit. How did I deal with it? It was really no different than any other nursing job. I'll say that that if they were being smart to you, they meant to be smart to you. The boys that I had, one was cognitively impaired. One was cognitively impaired, and the other boys that I had, I think I had three or four. Anyways, one was cognitively impaired. The other boys that I had were like spina bifida or muscular dystrophy or what's that other one? Cerebral palsy. So still here, but for whatever reason their bodies didn't work. And it was honestly no different than any other thing else. The one thing that you gotta sort of remember, the one thing that you gotta sort of take into consideration, if you are to the point to where you're going in their home, chances are they've had care for years. It may not have been home health. They may have been in and out of hospitals for their entire lives. So it may be weird for you, but chances are it's not going to be weird for that teenager. Because very, very, very rarely are you going to see a teenager who has an acute illness that requires home health. Typically, the teenager has had a chronic issue that they were maybe born with, or developed at a young age. So chances are they're going to be fairly used to whatever it is you're going to have to do. They'll probably put up a little bit of a fight, but I never, other than like back talk and smart mouth and things like that, I never had any real bad issues. The worst part of home health, since they fixed the pay, the worst part of home health that you really got to understand is you are it. You are one. You can't push a button and get a CNA. You can't, if you forget something in the other room, you can't just be like, oh, let me get somebody to get it for me. Chances are you're it. You're riding solo the whole time. So you still really got to plan out your attack. I'm not, you're not attacking a child. But you really got to plan out your task. You've got time. I mean, you're one-on-one. You have the time. It's not like you're going to miss your 2-hour med pass. Take your time. Take notes. Whatever it is you need to do. You have the time. Don't be in no rush with, one-on-one. Unless the trach pops out or something, that's going to be terrifying. Then you probably need to hurry for that. But the whole time, I never had by myself a trach patient. Now I would go in to help with a trach patient, but I never had one, not by myself. But yeah, so it was the best job ever. There were so many mornings that I would get up and go to work with when I was on home health and go play PlayStation, until it was time to eat or whatever time to do, or get up and watch Animal Planet or whatever the kids were into that day. I would get up and get to work and hang out at the house and play video games or do whatever. It was fun. It was a good gig. I just wish it paid better. I wish it paid overtime at the time, but it didn't. We were on paper. Of course, this was back in 2012. We were on paper back then, and it was like a carbon copy, and you always had to make sure you had your carbon copies turned in, or you didn't get paid. It may be on computer now. I would imagine that it is, especially in 2024. But yeah, home health was not bad at all. Like I said, sometimes it was the easiest job I ever had, and then sometimes it was not the easiest job I ever had. Like I had one person one time miss the wheelchair. We're doing a toilet transfer from the toilet to the wheelchair. This was not a pediatric patient. This is a big boy, and doing a toilet transfer, and picked him up, went to turn to the wheelchair, had it locked and everything, and it slid right out the back. I remember that day. By myself. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, it's it's not bad though. It's really not. Where you at? There we go. Excuse me. But yeah. I know my sister. I don't think she had left for anywhere yet. Yeah, because it was back in 2012. I was working 60 hours a week. My sister was working as a farm tech for Walmart, pharmacy technician, and she was doing like 30 hours a week. And granted, she was in Nashville, or Clarksville, Fort Campbell, and she was bringing home more than I was a week. I was like, what the world? How come you're bringing home more than I am right now? Of course, base pay back then was in the low teens. Hard to think about it like that. Yeah. It was somewhere around the low teens back then. And my sister was bringing home more than I was. She was probably making like 14 an hour. And still bringing home more. The hourly rate really shot up and then sort of leveled back out for nursing staff. Maybe in certain areas it's probably still increasing, but not here, not locally. It really took a dive after COVID sort of went away. I won't say COVID's gone, but the pandemic part of COVID. And I don't miss that. Not in the slightest. There we go. Getting all my ducks in a row. Well, I've run out of water, which I was drinking. My voice is not wanting to cooperate with me, so I'm going to end this here in about 2 more minutes. I'm going to go about 2 more minutes before I have to end it. It's crazy because I saw of something called the flirt COVID. The flirt COVID? What is the flirt COVID? Is this a real thing? In Canada, back to COVID, back in 2020, during the pandemic, in Canada, they encouraged husbands and wives when they were having husband and wife time to not kiss each other. And I was like, that's kind of weird. That's not, you just keep your mask on. I don't know, but it's kind of weird, man. I don't dig that, but teach their own. I'm about to Google this flirt COVID. I'm curious now. What is flirt COVID? Oh, it's a variant. Oh, LB1. Yale. All right. I got some things to say about Yale. So Yale has really sort of affected me here lately because Yale released a study in regards to substance abuse that, in my opinion, without getting into very specific details, in my opinion, Yale missed this mark completely when it comes to substance abuse. Basically, they're saying be a lot more lenient with substance abuse, and you'll get better results. So they're saying, if drug X is the issue, you can continue to do Y. Well, let's just fix X. I personally completely disagree with Yale on this aspect. And I know that I did not go to Yale. I have a community college degree, but I have been in substance abuse for 10 years and been hands-on, boots on the ground there for 10 years. And I think that Yale just completely missed it, and that was just stupid by them. But let's see what they have to say about flirt COVID. 3 things to know about flirt and LB1, the new coronavirus strain. This is written by Yale Medicine, as I said before. I have issues with Yale. I really don't trust. You got wrong on that substance abuse thing. I just don't think that you're doing right. With the whatever it may be. Cases were down for fewer. Let's read about the LB1. 17.5% of COVID cases. Subvariant of the Omicron. Okay, well, let's see what we got. Oh, where do they come from? Of course, no one's going to know where they come from. Ooh, detected in wastewater. Wow. Hope it's not from like drinking wastewater. Nah. Didn't really tell me anything that I wanted to know. Of course, I just sort of skimmed through it real quick. What's up, bud? I'm gonna say Intelli. No, there's no L in there. Inti. Could be right. Question. I'm from Canada, so we only have LPNs and BNs here and not the in-between RN program. Do you think we should bridge to the LPN BN program after 1 year as an LPN? Thanks for your advice. Couple things that I truly feel. Inte. It's a Popon. That's what my youngest calls Pokemon. I should have known that. She does love the Pokemon. So several different things. One, I truly wish we would get rid of this 3 nurse. Well, there's really more than 3. I really wish we'd get rid of the 3 nurse thing. LPN, ADN, BSN. I wish we would just have nurse. I really do. But so that was just sort of my rant. Do you think we should bridge to the LPN to BN program after 1 year as an LPN? Thank you in advance. It definitely depends on several things. 1, how old are you? 2, do you have children? 3, can you survive on what you make now? If I myself had to go back to school, it'd be very, very hard for me. I have 3 school-age children. Well, one is getting to the age where she really doesn't like her parents right now. But my other 2, one of them is special needs, and one of them is still young enough to where she loves her parents. Going back to school right now wouldn't be an option for me. It would not be feasible. My kids need me too much. Third point, I make enough to where I don't really need to worry about it. So I don't need to worry about it. And then how old are you? Like, if you're to the age to where you can't make up the money you would take to get there, there's really no point. Yes, definitely want to go further in my nursing career. I'm in my late 20s, single with no kids, still living with my parents, but want to move out soon. Don't move out. So that gives me some. Now let me answer your question. Yeah, let me answer your question. Don't move out. Go to school. Finish your year. Go to school. Don't move out. Save as much as you can. And then, when you're done with your 1 year and then school, or, however that works, move out. May still be in your late 20s, maybe in your early 30s. But hey, you got it going on. So yes, definitely with what you have going on, yes, go back right now. Well, finish up your year or whatever. But yes, go back. Absolutely. I also don't know the job market in Canada. But yeah. Also, what part of Canada are you from? Now that, I've answered that. But yeah, definitely go back. Definitely go back. Look into going back. One thing that I know that you said you're in your late 20s. One thing that you would have to worry about is you're going to not have a social life when you do that. So that's going to be no fun. But, who knows? You may hang out with your school friends. I don't know. Do y'all still go in school for stuff like that? I don't know how much in school we actually still do here. I haven't been in school in a long time. But yeah. Living with parents. Want to move out. He's like. Entay's like, dude, I got to get out, man. I'm tired of my parents. They being aggravating. Definitely describe my life. I'm bridging as well. In my late 20s, I have no kids, no husband. No husband BF. Get that degree. Get that degree. Shoot, I lost my place. Get that degree. People will never regret upgrading their career. Excuse me. Sometimes I can't help. I'm in the middle of Canada. Literally the middle of it. Find it. I'm right there in the middle. Sometimes I can't help but feel behind my friends who are already done with their schooling in their early 20s, and I'm still at school. But I enjoy the nursing career a lot. I'm in the middle of Canada. I didn't go to nursing school until I was 28. I didn't start school till I was 28, and I'd already had one child. The imposter syndrome is real sometimes. So, there's definitely time, but, I would definitely do it, beforehand. So, a lot of what I do is I look at people's birthdays and sort of compare myself to them. And so, like celebrities who are my age, I'll be like, oh yeah, I know who that is. And, I'll be like, well, dang, at the age of 17 or whatever, they became this huge megastar. What did I do with my life at that moment in time? But just remember, everybody goes at their own pace, which is easier said than done a lot of times. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to go there now. Everybody goes at their own pace. You can't compare your journey to others. You're literally in your 20s. You have time. The time will go by regardless. You may as well upgrade your life. Might as well. Agreed. Yeah, might as well. Time will go by regardless. You may as well. Agreed. Completely agreed. Also, save as much as you can while you're living with your parents. It's so hard. I don't know about Canada. It's so stinking expensive to live on your own here in the States. But if you're in the middle of Canada, I'm going to assume a rural area, which is statistically more expensive to live in than an urban area. Because rural poverty is actually a lot more prevalent than urban poverty. Even though we associate it with an urban issue, it's actually more prevalent in the rural areas. But, it is what it is. Inte. What's thinking Popon is Inte? I'll have to ask my child later. She'll be able to tell me. I think. Yeah, hang on 1 second. She just left these in here. This is Raulu and Bulbasaur. Excuse me. That's fair. I originally wanted to go to the BN route, but then my grades are not competitive enough, and then got into an LPN program and was planning on working PRN if I decide to do the LPN to BN bridge program. Fair enough. And yes, from a rural Canada, hits a nail. And yes, Raulu and Bulbasaur, yeah. Raulu has a buddy named, shoot, I forgot his name now. Anyways. Yeah, they do love Raulu. So, basically, you took the LPN as a sure thing rather than chancing it to do the BN. You know what you may find, and I always encourage in North Carolina, where I'm from, a RN, an ADN student can challenge the LPN NCLEX, and I have always encouraged challenge the LPN NCLEX, because if you challenge the LPN NCLEX and pass, and then for whatever reason fell out of school, you still at least have something to fall back on. And that's sort of why you should also go ahead and do the LPN as well. Because if you pass it and then don't get into the bridge program, or, life changes and you find out that you don't want to go any further or things like that, you still have that sort of base to fall back on. So, yeah, definitely go ahead and do it. Definitely go ahead and do it. And then finish your school, finish your year, and then, continue to upgrade yourself. It's the fact that I'm from a rural area, so we don't have the bridging school in my area. I'm a little bit scared to move to the big city. Don't have the LPN challenge here in Canada. So it's not really a challenge. It is, but it isn't. And I think, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I think it's only a North Carolina thing. Every state sort of has their own thing. California, you can actually physically challenge the LPN exam, but you have to have like 5 years or 7 years as a CNA, and then you can actually challenge it. But so basically, I can't remember the exact details, but let's say 2 years of BSN or ADN is 6 semesters. After your 4th semester, you have to pass it with so much of a grade. After your 4th semester of your ADN, you can challenge the LPN exam. Oh, in Florida you can too. Okay, yeah. So after I believe it's 4 semesters of ADN, you can challenge the LPN exam. So a year and a half. Whereas the LPN program is 1 year. 3 semesters. So it'll just be 1 more semester. You can challenge it. And I've actually known several nurses who challenged the LPN NCLEX and passed and became an LPN, and then for whatever reason, either didn't pass the ADN, or I know one lady got pregnant and had to drop out. Whatever it was, some life event happened. I've known several people who challenged the LPN NCLEX, and a life event happened, and they had nothing. The school was gone, and you can't go back and say, "Oh, I want to challenge it now." You can't really do that. But because they went on ahead and challenged it and got their LPN, they were able to fall back on that and start working immediately. So yeah, definitely, especially if you're in a rural area and the bridge program isn't really where you're at, the LPN program is where you're at, go for it. Yes, definitely. Now, maybe I'm misunderstanding. Is the LPN program local? Is it local to where you are in Canada? Is it close enough to commute? Oh, we got the game. Don't kid yourself. The game's there. We're just not playing it. I probably won't be playing it, to be quite honest with you. But yes, the game is there. What's up, Ross? But yeah, genuinely curious. Okay, so I'm misunderstanding. Okay, so the LPN is already obtained. Is the year completed then? Yeah, man. Good to see you today, Ross. I don't know how much longer I'll be on. I don't know if you can hear. I don't sound very well. So in Canada, LPNs are kind of like glorified CNAs. Like they do like CNA work, but pass meds. Like that's sort of what they do in Canada. You're like a licensed degree CNA. Um, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on that as well. Currently a CNA, but in the LPN schooling right now. Cool. Okay. So we got to finish school and then do the year and then do the BN program. I could tell. I don't really feel bad. My voice kind of hurts, and I honestly think it's because we haven't had rain in over a month here. That's what I'm gonna blame it on. I'm gonna blame it on not having any rain for over a month, and it's so stinking dry. But thank you for your well wishes. Lucario. Lucario is Raulu's friend. It came to my mind. My kids love all those little guys. Sounds good. Thank you, guys. And LPNs here can do exact same job as RNs. Some can even put IVs. Depends on the province you're living in. Cool. Yeah, we're in a heat advisory as well. Um. Okay. So Entei, that doesn't sound bad at all, honestly. Um. In North Carolina, which it's different everywhere in the states as well. Each state is different. I know you said each province is different. Each state is different in North Carolina or in the United States. In North Carolina, we can do IVs. The LPNs can do IVs. The LPNs can do shots. The LPNs can do most things that an RN can do. It's like assessments that LPNs can't do. Um, but it's like assessments and initiate blood and things like that. But IVs, yeah, you can see LPN doing IV. I've seen plenty of LPNs in dialysis. Actually, if I remember correctly, the dialysis loves LPNs because you can pay them less, treat them like a tech, and also treat them like a nurse at the same time. So, whereas a nurse was probably making, well, they were doing like, when I was in dialysis, they were making like 35, and then the LPNs were making like 27, doing more work. The LPNs were doing more work than the RNs, making less money. Hope you feel better soon too. Thank you. We're having storming here. The main difference between LPN and RN is the $15 pay difference and the job title. LPNs can't do NP. What is the NP? Without getting their BN. Tell me what NP is. I'm curious about that. Also, send some of that rain down here, man. Need some of that rain. Nurse practitioner. I feel like it's a task, though. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like you can't advance to that. Like you have to like stair step it. Okay. Now I'm on the same page. Sorry about that. That was me. That was me not staying on top of it. I was doing research for the LPN and the BN. I was so confused between the U.S. and Canadian nursing since we don't have the middle LPN, RN, BN. So maybe as a whole, that's how the United States has it. But we have LPN, ADN, BSN. That's how we refer to them as. But I'm sure as a whole they're probably referred to as LPN, RN, B. I keep wanting to say LPN, ADN, BSN because that's what we've always called them. Yeah, don't have ADN. Yeah. It's always so hard for me whenever, because I cannot shorthand. I can't. I have to spell everything out. Even in my charting, cannot shorthand. It's always so hard for me to keep up with people when they give quick, 2-3 letter shorthands. Like, man, I can't keep up. I'm gonna have to look this up. I don't know what this is. But yeah, I got you now. And then if you really want to get confused, you got CNA, CMA, and RMA. And those are not the same either. Those are like, I have always and will continue to consider a CMA and an RMA nursing staff. They're not really nurses, but they're nursing staff. They sort of do the meds at the doctor's offices and things like that. Yeah, how many more months of school left? And then does the year start after that? Does the year start after school's done? Nervous for the upcoming school year because we have summer break and we'll start learning IVs in pharmacology. Scared to poke and make lots of mistakes. Well, that's the only way to learn is to poke. That is the best way to learn. You will find some people were born with the blessing of being a vein whisperer. Some people were born with that blessing. Some people were not. And not everybody's veins are the same. Going into second year. Cool. But yeah, you'll find that a lot of people are I don't really want to say it's one that you can learn. It's one that you're sort of born with. Being the vein whisperers, the vampires. Yeah, it's always a lot of fun doing the blood draws. Yeah, halfway done. Yeah, I always love it when the phlebotomists call me to draw blood for them. I always feel like, doing when I'm doing their job, I always feel very accomplished when I'm drawing blood for a phlebotomist. It's like, yes, I have made it. Yes, I'm the best. Like accepting an Academy Award or something. It's always so much fun. Excuse me. Well, thank you. But in any case, glad to talk to everybody tonight. I'm going to go ahead and head off of here. Like I said, I don't have any more water in my cup. My throat is getting very dry and starting to get more scratchy than it was. So I'm going to head on off of here. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'm glad that everybody was with us today. Intag, come on back whenever you're ready. I typically do live streams at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I'm not sure what time you are in the middle of Canada. Yes, so should be back next weekend, 9 p.m. Saturday. I don't see why I won't be, but there's always, I do have kids and things can always go wrong. So I hope to see everybody again soon. Thank you guys so much, and I hope everybody has a good week. So, night, everybody.